Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin sayyidina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'd. Ladies and gentlemen who are blessed by Allah, we are very happy this morning that we can attend a virtual international conference organized by the Islamic Guidance and Counseling Study Program of UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. The holding of this international conference is an effort to explore, gather ideas, and find answers to various needs, which in recent times have increasingly emerged from the demands of what is happening in the people's life, both locally, regionally, and globally. The progress of human life with all its forms of change has resulted in the emergence of a shift in civilization, lifestyle, and as a result, as well as the problem of life. Currently, the world community is in the era of globalization, where every event that occurs in an area is very easily known to the world community, which at the same time can affect on a wide scale, both in terms of culture, values, societal norms, education system, and so on. Progress and changes in social life, besides giving hope, but also pose a threat of human lives, where many are found to be unprepared to face changes that are very vast on a large scale. We can find the phenomenon of stress and depression, unhappiness, and loss of meaning in life in the midst of the glittering advancement of the information technology era. Especially at this time, the world community has just been faced with a global disaster in the form of the COVID-19 pandemic that has lasted for 2 years, which has seriously shaken all aspects and joints of people's lives. We find clearly very large social and psychological problems, how they affect the world of work, education, social life, and even family. Organizing an international conference as a continuation of the event that had previously been held in the form of the first Islamic Guidance and Counseling International Conference, Part 1 in 2018. We currently have the theme Strengthening Innovation of Islamic Guidance and Counseling Services for Sustainable Growth Towards Society 5.0 Era. The general purpose is to discuss and examine various developments in the world of counseling guidance, both theoretically and practically from various aspects. On this occasion, we would like to thank the Rector of UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Professor Makin, who has been pleased to attend and give a speech at the opening ceremony and motivate all of us. Likewise, we thank the Dean of the Faculty of Dakwah and Communication of UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Professor Emma Marhumah, who is willing to attend and wills give full support for the progress of the Islamic guidance and counseling study program. We do not forget to thank the main resource persons, Zaliridzal bin Zakaria from USIM, Malaysia, Mr. Abdul Halim from National Donghua University, Taiwan, and Mrs. Ria Dwi Agustina, M.Si from McGill University, Canada, and Professor Casmini from UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, who has fully supported the implementation of this activity as the main speaker. Likewise, the panelists as well as article contributors who will fill in the discussion at the S.Pd forum from various institutions. Do not forget the participants as the audience who have given a lot of attention and supported this successful event. Finally, we say many thanks to all the committees and relations who have tried their best to organize this event from beginning to end. Hopefully, it will be a huge charity and get ridho from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Amin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much to Bapak Selamat S.Ag M.Si for the really inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear the welcome speech from Dean, Faculty of Dakwah and Communication, to Professor Dr. Haja Marhumah M.Pd. The time is yours.
Thank you, Mbak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wabihi nasta'in ala umuri dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. Excellency, Bapak Rector of Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University, Bapak Profesor Dr. Kiai Haji Phill Makin M.A, Honorable Head of Islamic Guidance and Counseling Study Program, Bapak Selamat M.Si, Honorable our speaker in this conference, Profesor Dr. Casmini, M.Si, Lecturer UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Bapak Abdul Halim, S.Pd candidate, Department of Education and Human Potential Development Nasional, Donghua University, Taiwan. Selamat datang, Bapak. Muhammad Zaliridzal bin Zakaria, Ph.D, Senior Lecturer Registered Counselor, right? Yeah. Counseling Program, Faculty of Leadership and Management, USIM, Malaysia. Ibu Dr. Ibu Roro Dwi Agustina, Ph.D candidate, Division of Social and Transcultural Psychiatry, McGill University, Canada. First all, I would like to thanks always to given to our God Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us mercies and blessing, and without ridho, yeah, this conference is very difficult for us. Secondly, our peace and solution always be open to Prophet Nabi Besar Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Peace be upon him as the word best inspiration and all human best example, who has brought us from the backwardness to the progress, namely Al-Islam. Al-Islam ya'lu wa la yu'la alayh. Amin. Allahumma amin. Subsequently, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all committees who have held and prepared this international conference. Well, today's conference raises an important topic, namely strengthening innovation of Islamic guidance and counseling services for sustainable growth towards society 5.0 era. Today, we live in a new era. We call it Society 5.0, designed by human-centered use of technology. The rapid development of technology has profoundly new style in life, shift of culture, transformation of society. The response toward this development is many varied. On the one hand, is open up some opportunities, for example, the adaptation of new culture, advanced use of technology for human efficiency, and also the creation of new job market. Yet, on the other hand, this new development can lead to psychological distress and disorientation. And our young generation are most vulnerable communities impacted by this development. Innovation, therefore, is inevitable. Is part of scholarly communities and education institution, the challenge that should be addressed are how to prepare our youth to deal with this development not only skill and also professional human resource, but also commit to the values of humanities so that they can transform their society. In this, consistent with the vision and mission of our faculty here at UIN Sunan Kalijaga, and particularly Islamic Guidance and Counseling Study Program. Yet with this new challenge, I think the science and practice of Islamic counseling should also be developed. How to develop science and practice of Islamic counseling. And we hope this conference can be contribute to the problem we are dealing with. Semoga. Terima kasih. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wallahul muwaffiq ila aqwamit thoriq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to Professor Dr. Haji Almarhumah M.Pd for the really inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear the keynote speech from Rector of Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. To Professor Dr. Phill Makin, S.Ag, M.A, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, let's be thankful to God who give us health and keeping us still alive. Please allow me to mention some of those who contribute and work very hard for this conference. Of course, Ibu Dekan, who's always ready, always well prepared in almost all seminars and every events in the faculty. I am so proud of you, Ibu Dekan, for your kindness, for your hard working, and for your openness. And this morning, I really very pleased to hear Bapak Slamet S.Ag M.Si, who is really well prepared to welcome everybody, and I enjoy his comments and brief insights. And I would like to welcome Muhammad Zaliridzal bin Zakaria, Ph.D., Senior Lecturers, Registered Counselor, Counseling Program, Faculty of Leadership and Management. Thank you very much for your time. And Abdul Halim, S.Pd, M.Pd, Ph.D. candidate, Department of Education of Human Potential Development, National Donghua University, Taiwan. Ibu R.R. Riyadwi Agustina, Ph.D. candidate, Division of Social Transcultural Psychiatry, McGill University. And of course, Professor Hajah Casmini, lecturer and professor of Dakwah faculty. And everybody who involved in this conference. Indeed, Dakwah has so enthusiasm, hard work, and the result we all can enjoy. In this brief occasion, I just returned from Surabaya last night. So to be very honest with you, I'm still sleepy because I took car, not by plane. And I passed by my hometown, Bojonegoro. I visit my home, my former home, because my parents passed away. So I visit the grave, their grave, and I visit some of my uncles and my relatives. However, this morning I'm very pleased because Pak Slamet said something very nice. Ibu Dekan as well, always well prepared. Okay, let me show you some points that become our concern. I'm really not sure whether this is right time and right place to mention some very crucial issues for our university, crucial issues for our discipline, for our development of science and knowledge in our country, for the sake of our Ministry of Religious Affairs. Here are some crucial issues worth mentioning, and we should ponder deeply. Firstly is epistemology, the source of knowledge. This is concern for all of us. In terms of epistemology, what is knowledge, where it's come from, and how this knowledge should be developed. We need a really new insight, particularly in the Ministry of Religious Affairs and generally in Indonesia. Secondly, practice. Practice has become concern of the Ministry of Education, Pak Nadiem atau Mas Menteri Nadiem Makarim. He invented Kurikulum Merdeka, free curriculum. He connects university to world of industry. And he pushed us to move more practical level in the world of labor. That is the second concern, and I think it's a big word. And then we are talking about authority. Authority in our country and in our education is a really big issue. Whose authority? Who has right to say so? Who decides? Whether it is authority of university, whether it is authority of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, whether it is the authority of the Ministry of Education, that is all mixed up and it attracts big discussion. Please forgive me, These issues is really, really very important. And I'm really, really not sure to repeat again whether this is right time and right place, just to make us aware that we have a big problem in our country with regard to our education, with regard to our knowledge, with regard to our development of research and development. Let me spell this one by one. Firstly, guidance and counseling. Just to refresh our memory of knowledge. Guidance and counseling is a kind of branch of new knowledge after the Second World War. Particularly, this kind of discipline was born in the context of postmodernism. This is kind of combination, if you might to say, of psychology, clinics or medicine, social science. That is a multidisciplinary approach that combining clinic, psychology, and social science. That is already complicated, even in the Western education system. However, they find always new way, and they give scientists or researchers or scholars more freedom than us. They have freedom to develop themselves. They have freedom to invent new knowledge. They have freedom of money. They well funded. They can do research involving a big money. And that is also another issue for us, money, not only authority. However, to make things more complicated in our world, clinic, psychology, social science, and we have one more factor that make us dizzy. That is religion or religious tradition. Please keep in mind that Indonesians are very religious. We are very religious, no matter what religions we embrace. Every politics, every social, every economy, every move, always we happily close to our religious identity. The biggest business is pilgrimage to Mecca, Umrah. The most profitable business is related to religions. That is fashion, like jilbab, like kopiah. Pilgrimage or ziarah attracts so many huge profit in our country. And in our ministry, we have special Directorate General that is Haji and Umrah. It is very reasonable and not surprising because the desire to go to Mecca for all Indonesians is really, really big, and we cannot bar from it. And it is also at the same time can lead to another opportunity to organize, opportunity to have profitable economy, chance and opportunity to social gathering, opportunity to administer and bureaucratize, all related to religions and social, political, and other factors. So we have one more burden, that is religious tradition. So indeed, guidance and counseling for us is quite challenging. Not only we should combine all available sciences and disciplines, but also we have to compromise with our religions that is really deeply rooted in our society, in the very heart of the structure of our society. So our society, not only individual, is quite pious, we might say. Pious is very religious. Our structure is very communal. It means we are not individual. We are always together in the name of our organizations, in the name of our community, in the name of our collective behavior. So we never secular. We never become individual. We always take part in society and become part of community identity. That is really very challenging in terms of development of guidance and counseling. We should combine all sciences, we should compromise with our religious traditions, and we should invent a new kind of epistemology. Let us return to epistemology. However, one more thing, whose authority to make that happen? Whether our university has freedom to do that. If so, whether we get legitimacy from our ministry. Or another question, whether the Ministry of Education allow us to do that under the roof of the Ministry of Religious Affairs. We have a big administration and bureaucratic issues. We propose so many ideas to open new discipline, new departments in our universities across Indonesia. New discipline that cultivated by Islamic University under the Ministry of Religious Affairs. But so far, we have trouble. We propose, let's say, kesehatan masyarakat, society health, and until now we still fail because the system in the Ministry of Education, or we call it silang kirma, is not accessible. Alhamdulillah, praise to God. Yesterday, I got the news that the Faculty of Science of Sunan Kalijaga successfully opened a new department of graduate faculty of environment. I think it's environment. But we have so many proposals that is remain hang over there, like medicines, like Ph.D. program from science. And there is another issue, to be very honest with you. The Faculty of Economy and Business Islam attracts not only the Ministry of Religious Affairs, but also the Ministry of Education. And they say the curriculum of this business and economy is more like the curriculum of science in general, not Islamic, as we might claim. So this is a big problem. There is authority disputes between the Ministry of Religious Affairs and the Ministry of Education, whose authority to open a new program, under which bureaucracy, under which administration that a new department can be developed. So I don't think that is in Canada or in Taiwan or in Malaysia, this issue is ever raised. But in our country, this issue we heard on a daily basis. We have many roofs, and under the presidency of Abdurrahman Wahid, once he proposed all educations, all schools, all universities should be under one roof. But it's no longer tenable. It's no longer an issue because the Ministry of Religious Affairs has full right to grant professorship recently and to grant associate professorship. And it means that the Ministry of Religious Affairs has full authority to issue or to give permission to open a new program in theory, but in reality, is still very far. Ladies and gentlemen, let us find a new possibility how we should have perspective, how we should find a good strategy to develop our institutions in order to achieve our goals, that education is for all, and education, ideally speaking, should not be barred from any ministry and should not be prevented from any progress and development. Let us say we have curriculum merdeka, free curriculum. In theory, curriculum merdeka gives us a freedom to compose our own schedule to compose materials and content should we teach to our students, and we can freely connect to the world outside university. But once again, at the moment, we are not ready because the relation between industry and our university is not absolutely clear. Let's say in the faculty of Usuluddin or in the faculty of Da'wah, in what way we connect our department to industry. If our department is comparisons of religions or studies of religions, which industry we should connect? Or like in Da'wah faculty, there are many departments that has no relation to the world of industry. So we are forced to be more creative. We are forced to find a new way how to approach this. And I'm sure all issues and all problems will make us more mature and will make us more creative in finding new solutions. Not only we are complaining that we have problems, but I'm sure we have solutions. I would like to address one more issue about our research. Recently, our government just moved all researchers from many ministries, including the Ministry of Religious Affairs, to new institute. It called it BRIN, Badan Riset Nasional, or National Research, this new institute. And just, I come from Surabaya. Yesterday, we discussed about what is the agenda of national research, whether we should also harmonize our research to the new institute. It's called a BRIN, or Research Institute, National Research Institute. That is guidance and counseling, I wish, should propose more opportunity and should give birth to fruitful discussion, particularly in this conference. And at the same time, there is a German proverb that it says, "Was macht du nicht umbringen, macht du stärker." What doesn't kill you make you stronger. I'm sure all of the issues never kill us. All the issues of authority, all the issues of epistemology, all the issues of administration and bureaucracy will never let us down. On the contrary, we should be more enthusiastic, we should be more creative in finding new ways and in developing our focus. And I'm sure we have a bright future. And thank you very much for your passion in listening few issues. And I'm sure this conference is a place where we could discuss. This conference is an opportunity for us to show our experience, to share our research, and to talk to each other. Thank you very much. And I wish this is very successful. And for the hard working, for all of this, let us be very thankful. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Rector.
Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you very much to Professor Dr. Phill Makin, S.Ag, M.A, for the really inspiring speech. The next agenda is Video International Conference on Islamic Guidance and Counseling. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to the following video.
Pak.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it might be time to go to the documentation session. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn on your camera, and to operator, please help us to take a screenshot.
Okay, everyone, can hear my voice? Okay, please open your camera. I will take some screenshot for documentation. Okay, everyone's ready? I will start from first slide. 1, 2, 3. Second slide. 1, 2, 3. Third slide. 1, 2, 3. Fourth slide. 1, 2, 3. Five slide. 1, 2, 3. Six slide. 1, 2, 3. Seven slide. 1, 2, 3. And then last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone. I return back to the MC.
Okay, thank you, operator. The next agenda is the main agenda, which moderated by Mrs. Venda. Her full name is Arya Venda Ibnusina, M.Si. She is a lecturer in the Department of Islamic Guidance and Counseling at Sunan Kalijaga State Islamic University. To Mrs. Venda, the screen is yours.
Halo Mbak Okti, can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can.
Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to international webinar with the theme Strengthening Innovation of Islamic Guidance and Counseling Services for Sustainable Growth Towards Society 5.0 Era. This international webinar is organized by Clinic Counseling Islam, Islamic Guidance and Counseling Department, Faculty of Dakwah and Communication, Islamic State University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. I am Arya Venda Ibnusina, and it is my honor to be your moderator for today's webinar. First of all, I would like to thank to all of the attendees who are attending this international webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that in the era of society 5.0, almost every of human activities will be based on technology. So that the Islamic Guidance and Counseling Study Program needs to strengthen the innovation of Islamic guidance and counseling services for sustainable growth toward the era of society 5.0 in dealing with many various psychological problems. Well, to discuss about it, we have 4 great speakers today. Let me say hello to all of the speakers. The first one is, hello Ibu Rororia Dwi Agustina, S.Psi M.Sc. Hello. Hello Ibu.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh for everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, everyone, she is a Ph.D. candidate, Division of Social and Transcultural Psychiatry, McGill University. And the second one is Ibu Prof. Dr. Hajah Casmini, M.Si. Hello, Prof. Prof. Casmini. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sehat, Prof?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. She is lecturer, researcher from Faculty of Dakwah and Communication, UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. And the third one is Pak Abdul Halim, S.Pd, M.Pd. Hello, Pak Abdul Halim, S.Pd, M.Pd.
Halo Bu Arya, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pak Halim is Indonesian, but no, he still continue Ph.D. program from Department of Education and Human Potential Development, National Donghua University, Taiwan. And the last speaker is Mr. Zaliridzal bin Zakaria. Hello, Mr. Zaliridzal bin Zakaria. Are you here with us now? Okay, maybe he still doesn't join with us now. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, because of Ibu Rororia Dwi Agustina S.Psi M.Sc has another agenda this morning, so we plan this webinar where Ibu Rororia Dwi Agustina M.Sc will deliver presentation first for about 20 minutes, and then we will have discussion with her for about 10 minutes. After that, our three speakers will deliver presentation, then we will have discussion later. To all participants, may write down your question into chat box and don't forget to mention your name and speaker names to who you want to ask before you write down your question. Besides that, you can use Bahasa or English. So in discussion, we will use bilingual, yes. And the question and answer session or discussion session will be held in our last session. Kepada seluruh hadirin, dipersilahkan untuk mengajukan pertanyaan baik dalam bahasa Indonesia maupun dalam bahasa Inggris dengan mengisi kolom chat dengan menyebutkan nama dan kepada siapa pertanyaan ditujukan. Well, to shorten the time, I would like to ask Ibu Rororia Dwi Agustina S.Psi M.Sc to present first for about 20 minutes. Ibu Rororia, no more than 20 minutes. The time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for the moderator. You already introduced me. So first of all, I wanna introduce myself again because people know me as a RR, Ria Dwi Agustina. It's not Roro, but actually it's a Raden Roro. So you can call me actually Ray, but in Canada, people know me as a Ria because sometimes Canadian or even other foreigners cannot call me Rere. For Indonesian, it's easy, but for people here, like it's quite difficult for them. So I believe people in here, you can call me Rere. I will start with share my screen first. Wait a second. I will try to present my talk in English, but if anyone here feel more comfortable to hear the presentation in Indonesian, please let me know. I'm quite flexible. Just let me know whether you feel more comfortable in English or in Indonesia. So yeah, we can start now, I think. Wait a second. So yeah, I want to say thank you for the committee who inviting me for this wonderful conference, especially for UIN Yogyakarta committee, and also for all participation from all the attendees. I want to say thank you so much, and then I'm really honored to be here this morning. And then yeah, today I want to share about the innovation of services for young people. So it is specifically about young people. in this human-centered society. So like the big topics, we talk about society 5.0, but I will more focus on young people. Okay. So today I want to share about 3 major points. First, I want to talk about common challenges faced by young people nowadays. And then the second point is about the innovation in mental health care. At this point, I will talk about one of my projects with my colleague in Indonesia. So it's more like sharing my project experiences. And then the third one, I will share about the people development for young people. So yeah, we start from the challenges. As we know that the world is changing daily very fast, we can say that time flies so fast. We quite often didn't realize that like 1 hour passed or one week passed or even 1 month passed. But for the last 1 or 2 years, we feel that 2 years pass very quick because the pandemic, because everything unpredictable, let's say conditions. So we can say the world is changing very fast. And then during this day with the digital culture, technologies are embedded into every aspect of our life, whether it's in our academic life, in our work life, or even in our personal life, right? So technology is everywhere. And then in this society for 5.0, digital technology transformed in order to support us for reaching our personal well-being. The digital technology have an objective to help us a human to cope with social problems and also to increase productivity. So the balance between the technology and also human as a key factor is really important in this society 5.0. And then during this COVID pandemic, we know that because the outbreak, it revealed that the extraordinary demand, high demand for mental health and also psychosocial support across community, whether it's in the older population or in the young people or even in the children, the demand for the support for mental health and also psychosocial is very high. Before I start again, is my slides change? I just want to make sure. Maybe anyone? Moderator, can you confirm? Is my slide? Yes, okay, that's great.
Yes, okay, good.
Okay. Sometimes because the slide is just didn't move. I just want to make sure. Thank you so much. So now we move to the challenges specifically for the young people. For young people, like attendee in here, I think that most of the attendee in here is a student, right? Is a university student from undergraduate program. So young people in here also, I think that have like challenges in terms of the social distancing, and they also need to adapt themselves to work, even to study from home, and it can be very hard for them, especially during this pandemic. I mean, even for let's say like a middle adult or like for the lecturer, it's also not easy for them, but for the young people also it's quite hard for them. We can see from the news, we can read from the article, many young people are cut out from their friends because of the isolation. They also cannot meet their family or even lost their family member. They suffer from social isolation as well. So it's really not easy for young people. So one of the research from Phill and Makin 2020, they reveal that the COVID-19 outbreaks really represent the extraordinary, very high stressful experience from young people. So the question is, what we can do to support young people? First, in this presentation, I want to share about from point of view mental health care, and the second one, what we can do to support young people in terms of personal development. Okay. innovation in mental health care. What is about? So during the Society 5.0, it's all about technology, right? And then if we see the opportunity, the technology has the potential to transform mental health care by connecting patient, services provider, professional, and also health data in the new ways, rather than the traditional like a face-to-face, let's say, sessions. So today I want to specifically share about e-mental health care. Why e-mental health care is important nowadays? First, because when we build a novel mental health care based on the technology development, we will be available to reach broader communities. So we will reach more people who have like more access to mental health care. And then it will also tackle the stigma and support more people with psychological problem to seek help. Because in Indonesia as well, help seeking is one of a barrier for people to access the mental health care, because they still have like a self-stigma or even public stigma still high. So with the e-mental health care is a one-off way to tackle the stigma itself. Like the third point, it can make a patient who probably may not feel safe to go to the treatment room, to go to the consultation room, or even let's say to go to hospital to meet a counselor or psychologist or psychiatrist. But with the technology, with the e-mental health care, they can feel more comfortable because people can not know when
I'm
they
sorry,
do access.
Ibu Ria.
Yes.
The slide is still first slide.
What is a okay?
Yes, still first slide.
What the title?
Human-centered society, innovation of service for young people. Still first slide.
Okay. Okay, let me stop share first.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why it's paused. Okay, let's try again. Thank you for informing me.
Yes.
Now I'm
you.
sharing about e-mental health care. Is that correct? Is it
Yes.
good now? Okay, e-mental health
Yes.
care. Right. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for informing me. So let me repeat again. So yeah, e-mental health care is a one way to tackle the stigma. It can be one way to make a patient feel more comfortable, because the patient identity can be like covered, like nobody can know the patient access the mental health services by online. So yeah, in mental health care can be considered as an effective and complementary option to the traditional face-to-face psychological support. So yeah, it's a complementary option. So people can choose nowadays whether they wanna access traditional face-to-face, such as go to the hospital, go to the psychological clinic, or they wanna choose to access the online mental health care. Okay. Now I want to sharing one of my project. I have one of project with my colleague in Indonesia. So we initiate a collaborative mental health community. And then one of our project is we built a live counseling, online live counseling for young people, especially for students. So the question is why lay counseling? So the first time, if I remember, I heard and I learned about lay counseling when I started my master in College London, and then afterward until now in my PhD, I also part of Global Mental Health Research Lab. One of approach from global mental health is the task shifting. So it's a one-off approach that can be considered for a country like a developing country who have a shortage of mental health professionals and also a lack of mental health services in their country. So basically, task shifting is we move from rely on a single group of experts, of specialists for providing mental health services towards to the use of non-specialist provider. So people who's not professional clinicians or like a professional counselor, they can learn, they can access the mental health training, and then they can help to promote the mental health and also to be a counselor. So professionally trained, that's the one of the requirement, professional trained. The lay counselor can provide effective mental health intervention in low and middle income country, because in a low and middle income country like Indonesia, we have a shortage of mental health providers, mental health services as well. So back again, why light counseling is needed? There's a 3 point in here. First, access to care. Again, with the limited access to mental health care in here in Indonesia, e-mental health technology have the potential to increase the access. So people can have more access when they need help. And then the second one is the principle of global mental health itself, task shifting. Like I said before, the shortage of mental health professional, it's a one-off way to tackle a health worker shortage. And then for the preventive strategy is a part of preventive step toward more serious psychological problems. So it's not for replacing the clinical counselor or like a professional counselor or psychologist or psychiatrist, but is like a complementary. So, and then it can be like the first layer to help people before the patient having like a more serious psychological problem. So with the lay counseling, we can help to at least reduce people who have a more mental health problems. So this is our pilot project for the online line counseling as our innovation. The participant target or the client target is a student. It can be undergraduate, master or PhD student. It can be in Indonesia or in overseas. And again, the question why whether it's in Indonesia or in overseas, because based on my experience, also my colleague experience, we complete our postgraduate study in overseas. We face many challenges. Sometimes when we want to access mental health services in the country where we study, sometimes there's like a different culture values, and then but when we need help from Indonesian professional counselor or psychologist, it can be hard to access them. So that one of thing make us inspired to build this program. And then the consult target is graduates with psychology or guidance and counseling program study. So it can be graduated from undergraduate with the psychology or bimbingan and counseling as well. So for this pilot project, the program duration per batch is 3 months. We start in end of 2020 until 2021. And then, so the first step before we start the counseling, after we open the recruitment, and then alhamdulillah, so many people interested to register as a counselor. And then we try to select them. And then for people who get accepted, the lay counselor must complete preparation training. So we prepare the material for the training with specific topics. First, of course, we explain about our institution, about our community at mental, and then we refresh them with the overview like counseling, and then with the basic counseling skill. And then we also create safety net procedure. What is that? That's like a group of psychologists who also register with our program, and then we give roles to them to be like a safety net. So if we found like a more serious psychological problem, and then the psychologist, the clinical psychologist, will provide like a recommendation also, or even they will take the case by them. And then we also give a training about cultural sensitivity, because we feel that culture is really important factors in Indonesia. And then we also give training about mental health first aid and the SOAP, how they can make like the log note about the counseling process. So it's the procedure. All counseling sessions are conducted by online, and then it must using our platform, our mental platform, and each client gets 1, 2, 3 sessions. So it's based on their preferences, whether they feel that 1 session is enough or they need like a more session, but the maximum is 3 sessions for 3 months. And then every session lasts more or less 16 minutes. And then one of the most important thing, the counselor, the lay counselor are asked to write the log note based on the SOAP methods per session. So we have the log note, so we can track about the condition, about the client condition, and also about the counseling process itself. Yeah, so that's the first project about mental health care that we try to build. And then now the second part is more about personal development. So if the previous one, it's more like curative methods, where when the young people have a problem, then they need to help themselves, and then they seek help from the counselor. But this one, it's more like a preventive. So how we can help young people to develop their personal, because for us it's quite important, because becoming fully engaged in this world with the unpredictable condition, with the various challenges, leave young people think about the important things of personal development, and it makes them to work toward it. So many kind of methods can be used for developing their personal. It can be using like a training or workshop, or even like a self-led learning, like nowadays so many online courses through internet. They can choose whatever topic they're interested, and then they also can involve in organizational or volunteer activity to develop their personal. It can be within in the campus or even outside the campus. So it's based on the preference. And the third one is the mentoring. This one is the approach that I want to share about, because I have one project with my colleague, different colleague, for the mentoring for the personal development. So yeah, the question is, what kind of skill young people need for, let's say, for a student in here who will be graduated within 1-2 years, or even in maybe 1 or 2 semesters, what skill young people need for their future workforce. So many people can say different things, but based on our experience, based on our project, first of all, of course, the digital literacy, it's important. Again, with the society 5.0, we live in digital culture. Of course, we need to be able to do every kind related with digital. We need to understand, and then we need to know the limitation as well, so we can use digital wisely, right? And then the second important skill is a growth mindset. What is a growth mindset? It is when the person have principle or like belief that she or he can always improve, can always grow. It's not only about academic life, but it's also improving in other perspective. So learn and learn. So people who have like growth mindset will think that they always can be improved every day. They can learn many things. If they failed in one point, they will try again and never give up. And it's related with the resiliency. It's really important in nowadays when we have so many challenges for young people as well. Let's say like the policy about study from home, it's always changed. Let's say government say that, okay, you can go to university, you can study from your campus, but it's changed. Or even with all challenges that I mentioned previously, resiliency, it's really important. Resiliency means that once you got a problem and then you go down and then you be able to stand up again and then to move on. And then you be able to do whatever you need to do. And then the fourth one is the adaptability. It's quite important because wherever you live, wherever you work, you need to adapt with a new environment, with a new, let's say, challenges. So adaptability is really important. And then communication, of course, because yeah, we always need to communicate with other people. We need to interact with the different, let's say, the different population, different backgrounds. So it's really important to have a good communication skill. And then I will say the problem solving first, because again, with the society 5.0, young people have a long homework to solve social problems in the future. So young people need to be able to solve in a quick time a problem that they face. They will have like a limited time to solve the problem. So yeah, it's really important for young people have a problem solving skill. And the last one is global mindset. Again, because with the technology, it's really easy for us to interact with other country, people from other country, or we work in a collaboration with people from across the world. So with the global mindset that we want to improve ourselves so we can be, let's say, having similar skills, having similar quality with other people from a different background and different, let's say, come from a different country. And then with the global mindset, we will not easily feel enough for ourselves, but we want always learn and then trying to get a new challenge, and then we will not scare to try the challenge itself. So yeah, more or less that's the skill that young people need. Back again, mentoring. Why I just mentoring for my project? Because it's a long research. Positive youth development research reveal that young people getting benefit from a caring relationship between them and also adult. Adult means the mentor itself, who have like a more experience than the young people, because the adult itself serve as a positive role model. So the young people can learn from the role model itself. And then mentors who usually have a more experience help young people develop protective factors. One of is to support resiliency. Like I mentioned before, is one of the important skill to have by providing support, guidance, and also opportunities. And then mentoring provide meaningful connection that impact the people involved between mentor and mentee. So the benefit is not only for the mentee, but it's also for the mentor itself. And it can influence their life, either at home, at work, and also their community. So we have like a similar principle with the mental health care. It's important making mentoring accessible to everyone. In my project with my colleague, we work together in the building a digital platform for mentoring. We try to removing barriers to find a mentor, because where I'm here today until I can pursue my PhD and then I can pursue my higher education in overseas, I believe because I have mentors in the past. Can be, I can say it's like informal mentors, but again, it's really important if I reflect to myself. So we think that it's important to remove barriers because when I talk with the young people, sometimes they don't know if they wanted to do something and then where they can find the mentors for them. So the second is we try to build automated matchmaking for the mentor and then for the mentee as the talent. Again, with the digital technology, we try to simplify the matchmaking process between mentee and mentor. So we try to make a matching algorithm so we can simplify the process itself. And then we also try to connecting people within or even between institutions. So we can learn from our community, our inside community, but we also can learn from the other community itself. So yeah, connecting people, hopefully it can help mentee and mentors to learn like a different thing. And then we also promote sharing ideas between mentee and mentor. It's not always mentee who got like let's say information or knowledge, but it's quite often mentor also get the benefit, get a new information from the mentee. So yeah, so sharing of ideas, sharing about experience is really important here. And then the last one is we build dashboard to support our measurement device. So I build the measurement device to do the monitoring and evaluation of the mentoring program. So hopefully it can support the strategy mentoring program. This one, the last one, sorry, it's too long. So yeah, why the mentoring is important? Because the benefit is really good for young people because yeah, in the previous research, mentoring promotes positive social attitude and also relationship because it's not easy to build a positive relationship during the youth stage. And then mentored youth tend to trust their parent more and then having a communication skill better than young people who never joined with the mentoring program. And then young adult or young people who had a mentor, especially who have at risk, it can be at risk mental state or it can be at risk psychological problems, they are more likely to report engaging in productive or like a more positive activity such as voluntary or organizational activity, rather than young people without a mentor. So the last one is, yeah, mentoring also can be used for preparing young people for entering the college or entering the higher education or even entering the career world, because mentoring help develop the future workplace talent. So it's depend on the topic. So you in the mentoring, mentee usually can choose like what specific topic they want to learn or what specific topic they want to prepare, whether it's about and let's say like there's a mentee who wants to pursue higher education for master or PhD, or like or another topic is specific about how to get like management training in their career, or like how to be like a good counselor or the others. So it's depend on the topic. But in summary,
Ibu Ria, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's
finished?
1 minute.
Okay.
Yes, it's finished, but 1 minute for you to
okay, thank
finish
you.
the material.
Okay. That's good because this is the last slide. Okay, so in the summary, thank you for reminding me. In the summary, for us as a researcher, as a scientist, we want to provide the program that can help young people. So we try to do or to build a program based on the scientific approach and also, of course, evidence-based. So hopefully with our program, either in the mental health care or even in the mentoring for personal development, we can help young people to have a better future. So that's all from me. Thank you so much. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you. And I return the floor to moderator.
Thank you very much, Ibu Rere, for the inspiring material. Yes, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ibu Rere told us about online live counseling as innovation of service for young people, which counselor must complete many preparation for training that consists specific topic. They are mental overview, live counseling program, basic counseling, and etc. Besides that, as young people, we need digital literacy, growth mindset, resiliency, adaptability, and etc. Okay, then we will have discussion. There are many questions, but we just read 2 questions because of we don't have a long time. Okay, please to Kamti can display the question, just 2 questions we will discuss in this session. Okay, Kamti, please help us to display the question on the screen. Belum terlihat ya, panitia?
Sudah kelihatan.
Oh, sebentar. Oke. Baik, untuk pertanyaan pertama dari Mbak Alisa, bagaimana teknologi digital dapat mengatasi masalah sosial sementara tidak semua orang memiliki fasilitas dan kemampuan untuk memanfaatkannya. Bahkan banyak masalah sosial yang timbul dari kemajuan teknologi digital. Terima kasih. Silahkan Ibu Ria.
Ya, terima kasih. Pertanyaannya dari Alisyah ya. Ini pertanyaan pertama ya. Soalnya yang di screen nggak terbaca, blur.
Ya.
Jadi ini pertanyaan pertama ya dari Alisyah ya. Oke, bagaimana teknologi digital dapat mengatasi masalah sosial sementara tidak semua orang punya fasilitas itu ya. Nah, tadi yang saya coba jelaskan, tadi kan sudah bahasa Inggris, jadi saya mohon izin untuk menjelaskan dalam bahasa Indonesia. Jadi seperti yang ada di presentasi saya, bahwa teknologi digital technology is one of complementary option. Jadi memang tidak bisa menyamaratakan bahwa semua orang bisa mengakses itu. Karena terlebih lagi di Indonesia mungkin akses digital itu kan belum rata gitu ya. Di berbagai daerah, mungkin lebih di daerah yang pelosok gitu ya. Itu mungkin terkadang akses digital itu masih terbatas. Jadi memang teknologi digital itu membantu untuk memperlebar akses, tapi tidak bisa diratakan gitu untuk semua. Ketika memang akses itu belum ada beberapa option sebenarnya kalau menurut saya. Bisa dengan bekerja sama, misalkan bekerja sama dengan, let's say misalkan ada yang membutuhkan bantuan psikologis gitu ya, tapi di daerah yang terbatas sinyalnya. Tapi mungkin ada puskesmas terdekat, mungkin bisa kerjasama dengan puskesmasnya untuk mengakses, misalkan seperti itu. Tapi kalau memang juga sulit, memang kita tidak bisa menutup mata bahwa akses digital itu sendiri masih belum rata di Indonesia gitu. Nah, untuk akses ke mental health service sendiri, terutama di Jogja ya, Yogyakarta kan adalah salah satu contohan yang sangat baik gitu untuk Indonesia, di mana misalkan puskesmas itu sudah cukup banyak, hampir semua gitu ya, hampir semua kabupaten sudah memiliki psikolog ataupun juga sudah ada program jiwa gitu. Jadi memang saya tidak bisa memberikan jawaban bahwa teknologi digital bisa menyelesaikan semua masalah. Gitu. Jadi balik lagi tergantung kondisi. Tapi dengan tidak dengan belum meratanya akses juga jangan sampai membuat kita membatasi diri nih untuk melakukan inovasi. Mungkin sekarang masih terbatas, tapi kedepannya kita bisa kolaborasi mungkin dengan CSR perusahaan yang punya akses sinyal dan sebagainya gitu. Itu kan bisa bertahap gitu ya. Tapi jangan sampai itu menurunkan semangat kita untuk melakukan inovasi. Gitu sih. Kalau dari saya.
Oke, baik, terima kasih. The next question. Nah, oke, ini terlihat. The next question, please, Kamti.
Oh iya, ini terlihat.
Oke, sip. Nah, ini dari Mas Halim. What can we do or what to consider regarding the trustworthiness and data safety of a mental health care, as it is often one of the concern for online world? Silahkan Ibu Ria.
Iya, terima kasih untuk Mas Halim ya untuk pertanyaannya berkaitan dengan online services dengan confidentiality dan juga data safety memang menjadi isu yang dari dulu sampai sekarang akan selalu hangat tuh ya untuk isu safetyness gitu. Pertama yang kita coba untuk di project saya dan kolik saya itu berkaitan dengan trust. Yang jelas satu kita memberikan penjelasan gitu ya, informed consent, penjelasan di awal itu memang sudah kami jelaskan gitu ya secara terbuka gitu. Apa maksud program ini, dijelaskan juga bahwa program ini bukan menggantikan, tidak bertujuan untuk menggantikan profesional counselor gitu ya, dan juga kita meminta informed consent dari para klien gitu ya. Dan menjelaskan juga siapa konselornya gitu. Jadi di situ mereka berhak untuk menolak kalau memang tidak merasa nyaman atau misalkan merasa tidak belum ada trust gitu ya, tidak ada pemaksaan di situ. Jadi kita dengan memberikan penjelasan sedetil-detilnya dan terbuka itu untuk membangun trust dengan klien. Nah, berkaitan dengan data safety, ya balik lagi ini merupakan isu yang selalu dari dulu sampai sekarang gitu ya. Yang kita coba adalah satu, kita menggunakan cloud yang memang aksesnya itu terbatas. Jadi hanya core team saja yang punya akses ke data pasien, data klien. Jadi itu salah satu upaya yang kami coba lakukan untuk menjaga safety dari data gitu ya. Memang mungkin masih ada resiko kebocoran data atau misalkan hackers dan sebagainya gitu. Tapi yang kami coba di sini adalah berusaha untuk menganonimkan data pasien gitu ketika ada di record data kami. Jadi memang balik lagi kalau kita terus memikirkan isu-isu yang selalu ada gitu ya dari dulu sampai sekarang dan itu membatasi kita dan kita tidak mau melakukan kontribusi gitu ya, itu saya sangat sayang gitu. Jadi kalau yang kami coba lakukan gitu ya di project ini adalah kita coba apa yang bisa kita lakukan dengan berusaha sebesar mungkin untuk meminimalisir resiko-resiko yang ada terkait dengan tadi safety dari data ataupun building trust-nya seperti apa. Itu sih. Jadi yang kita udah usahakan adalah kita coba kita coba untuk tentu dengan training juga untuk konselornya, jadi dipastikan bahwa nilai-nilai dan etik yang memang harus dilakukan itu mereka sudah paham gitu ya, dan confidentiality itu bisa dijaga juga. Berikutnya ada lagi moderator pertanyaannya.
Sudah karena waktu ya.
Oh, baik.
Okay, thank you very much Ibu Rere, because we don't have long time, so we must move on to the second speaker.
Okay, so maybe for all people who have a question that I can answer now, you can send a question to my email or to the committee, and then maybe the committee can forward to my email, and then I will more than happy to answer it, because I saw that like a few questions So yeah, just let the committee know about the question, and then hopefully committee can forward to me and then I can answer. Terima kasih semuanya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, the next session is we will listen to the second speaker. She is Professor Dr. Hajah Casmini, M.Si. She is professor in Faculty of Dakwah and Communication, UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. She will tell us about psikologi masyarakat Jawa menghadapi perkembangan zaman. Hello, Bu Casmini, are you ready to present the material? Hello, Bu Casmini?
Okay.
Okay, and the time and screen for you.
Clearly, Mbak Venda?
Yes, I can see clearly your material, Bu.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Slide-nya terlalu kecil, Ibu. Nah, oke.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Thank you, Mbak Venda, for the time given to me. Okay, in this session, I will present discussion about Islamic counseling for society 5.0 era.
Bu Prof, I'm sorry, masih terlalu kecil. Apa jika kesulitan, maka panitia akan membantu share screen?
Oke.
Oke, panitia bisa membantu share screen atau Bu Venda saja nggak Bapak? Terlihat dengan jelas, Bu Casmini?
Oke.
Oke, monggo.
Oke. Oke. Next, Mbak Venda.
Ya.
Introduction. Let's take a look at the 5.0 era society phenomenon, change for industrial revolution, like industry revolution, especially heavy and chemical industry, industrial revolution, computer, internet, and society 5.0 industrial revolution to become digital transformation. Next, Mbak Svenda. The era society 5.0 so we to balance economic advancement with the resolution of social problems about vitality and high quality life. For vitality, to provide goods and service and granularly address manifold latent need without disparity for high quality life to advance fusion of cyberspace and physical space. Next, Mbak Venda. Very crucial issues, the current phase of economic might be sharing economic, education, e-government, cloud collaboration, marketplace, e-online health services, smart manufacturing, smart city, and smart application. Next, Mbak Venda. The new era of digital industrialization treat globally. The digitalization era will eliminate around 1.5 billion jobs transferred the year down and the year due to the replacement of human position with automated machines. The second, it is estimated that the future of primary school students will be working in jobs that do exist today. An opportunity, the era of digitalization has the potential to provide an increase in the next workplace of up to 2.1 million the new job by 2025. There is a potential reduction in carbon emission of approximately 27 billion metric tons for 3 industries. Next, Mbak Venda. Reality, crucial issues require scale, complex problem solving, kemudian critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, judgment and decision making, services orientation, negotiation, cognitive flexibility. Next, Mbak Venda. Crucial issues in guidance and counseling about society 5.0 to influence psychological, emotional, and behavior and implication for the guidance and counseling profession, especially counseling characteristic and career flexibility. Nah, guidance and counseling services in the era industrial revolution for to develop to counseling characteristic and career flexibility. Now, implication for the guidance and counseling, utilization of cyber system, consulting, advocating, service using the media, method classical counseling, group counseling, individual counseling, by basic service, responsive service, individual planning, to evaluation, administration, database. We need assessment, we need program design to consulting program planning, especially in Islamic guidance and counseling, we can base on Islamic value. What we can do improve with use to Islamic guidance and counseling in services facilities. We can do improve with WA, WhatsApp, improve or develop a counseling or cyber counseling. Thank you so much for all participation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ibu Profesor Dr. Hajah Casmini, M.Si, for the nice material. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she told us about that in society 5.0 era, we should have many skills. They are complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, and etc. Besides that, a counseling must consistently incorporate with Islamic value. Okay, we will move on to the next speaker. He is Bapak Abdul Halim, S.Pd, M.Pd, Ph.D candidate. For Bapak Halim, the screen and time is yours.
Okay, thank you Bu Brenda. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll try to share my screen first, yes. Okay, Bu Brenda, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, good. I'll try to check whether it is moving or not. Now,
yes.
Second slide.
Yes.
Okay,
clearly. Sip.
All right, good. Thank you. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to everybody. Good morning. Today I'm going to present my presentation with the title Society 5.0 Guiding to Establishing Social Justice in Human Potential Development. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Abdul Halim. I'm a lecturer in Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur. Currently, I pursue my Ph.D. degree in National Tsinghua University, Taiwan. So before we start, I'd like to go back to Bu Brenda first. Bu Brenda, I have one question here on my slide.
Yes.
What comes to mind when you hear the word Society 5.0?
Big data.
Big data, okay. So what is the thing that appears to your imagination about big data?
Many various of data that we can look for.
Okay, so everything is available there on clouds, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Previously, Professor Casmini has already presented to us about the development of Society 5.0. That is very interesting. And I would like to thank you to Prof. Casmini earlier to present this part already. So it is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that the development of era in every period of time is evolving, and then it is influencing the life of ours. Well, actually, based on some theories, the life of human being can actually be interrelated. So the human being can influence the society, and the society can influence the behavior of a human being. So it's actually like back and forth processes. And then what to do and what happens with the era of industrial 4.0 is we know that in the industrial era revolution, the fourth one, everything is digitalized, everything is transformed, everything is now starting with AI, IoT, Internet of Things, and then the blockchains right now that is very very famous things that how to say this, kind of viral in Indonesia right now. So things changes the life of ours. Things have evolved the way of a human being interact one and another. So for example, in one family, usually in the past, I still remember when I was a little child, usually in one moment, there's one time in our in a day, for example, in a family, in our house, we usually gather with all the members of the family, with the father, mother, children. We try to communicate. We build relationship between people in the houses. But right now things are changes. People are starting to stick on the gadgets. People start to stick on their smartphones, right? And the way people communicate is also changing right now, because in the past you have to send letters, you have to wait for months to get the news from people from across the world. But right now, just within 0.0 seconds, you can get the new information. Everything is available on your gadget right now. But the things also becoming a concern for some people, because we are too strict with the gadget. We are too dependent on the information that is available on the internet, so we don't know whether it is truly the truth or not, right? And also the changes of the technology right now start to, how to say, revolutionized the situation. The evolution of technology right now has provided us the metaverse, something that is very in right now, something that you can go to the online world as if you are real over there. And also in education, people have started to go online right now, especially with the how to say, with the force of the pandemic. Things have gone more and more online right now. Even though the children, maybe they are happy, maybe they are not. Maybe we need to take a look at their mental right now. How is the development of their mental if the situation is not the same as in the past, for example? And then in business, for example, like Prof. Casmini already presented to us, there are some opportunities, there are some things that have changed the way people transact online. So for example, this guy, I believe you, the participants in this event have known this young man. Anybody knows his name? He is Ghazali. He is one of the new billionaire right now in Indonesia, because he is consistently capturing his selfie photos and sell this online, and people bought it for millions of Indonesian rupiahs. So that is very amazing because of the changes of the situation due to the technological development. And then what about the things that happens in education? So once upon a time, before, well, BC is not before Christ, but before COVID-19, how is the classroom happening? I'll go back to the moderator, Bupenda. How is the classroom before the COVID-19, Bupenda?
Very happy.
Very happy, right? So we come to the classroom, we are interacting with the people, we are interacting one to another with one friends, with teachers.
Yes.
We come to the classroom with smiles, right? So that is what is happening before COVID-19. We are happy in the classroom. But now, starting from 2020 until 2022, it's been 2 years. That's been so long that we haven't come to the classroom. Well, some schools right now try to have offline classes, but still, due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we go to online classrooms. And then in online classrooms, things are different. Yes, we can be happy, we can meet our friends, we can meet the teachers, but the pattern of interaction is still not the same. The way we interact with the people is still not the same. I still can be happy, for example, if I have a spouse with my wife, for example, if I meet with her like face to face, the feeling is over there. I can feel happy, I can feel love, I can feel the passion, how to be a good companion for my spouse. But in the classroom, for example, if it is in online classroom, how do we build the relationship with teachers and the students? And sometimes as a teacher, as a lecturer, I believe when you go to online classrooms, the feel is not the same, right, Ms. Kenda?
Yes, it's not the
Yes.
same because of a student always close the camera. So I talk by myself.
It's like you're talking to the wall, right? You're talking to the computer
Yes.
and nobody is listening to you. So yeah, that's the challenge that we have right now. So online has the opportunities. Online world gives us more ways to interact, but again, there are some limitations that we are facing right now, right? In the online world. So as an educator, there are some ways of improvement so that we can, how to say, solve this kind of problems. Of course, the first is language proficiency. Either it is in English, either it is in Indonesian, or local languages, because sometimes the mastery of the local languages, it can help us to improve, to communicate, and get the kind of feeling with our students. So that is actually why, even though, you know, I am from East Kalimantan, and I am the how to say, original tribe from Kalimantan. My tribe is Kutai, and then I learned Japanese. I learned some other local languages. What for? To attract the students' attentions. So language proficiency, that is very important. Besides the pedagogical knowledge and skills, also very important. Understanding the students' balance of explicit and implicit teaching, membership of the communities of the teacher as educators, and participation in the lifelong learning, and then the use of technology, which Mr. Yah already told us earlier about the human-centered society. That's also very interesting. And also the promotion of engagement, of how do we engage with the school community. So what are the problems faced by the educators during the pandemic? We have lots of multi-dimensional problems. Well, some people say that it is maybe temporary, but we don't know. Things have changed. We've been doing this for 2 years. If we count by hours, it's more than like thousands of hours, and people start to get used to it. So for example, there is a study in UK. Right now, the work, how to say, the work culture is shifting in the United Kingdom, in England. What is happening? Because it's been 2 years, the younger generation, they haven't been to office, and they get used to it, and they feel, this is the pattern, that the work that I am looking for. And then suddenly, because they have been doing this for 2 years, and then once in a while, the Prime Minister announced that, okay, we are now in the endemic situation. You don't have to worry anymore about COVID-19. You have to go back to office. And what happens? The production is going down. The productivity is different because people are starting to get used to the new situation. So that is something that we have to consider when we are, how to say, when we are facing a new changes. Okay, so this is also very important. If we are an educator, we have to take a look. We have to consider about, people say it as in the short one, as a TPAC: technology, pedagogy, and the content. For example, if we go to the past before COVID-19, for example, pedagogy and content, that is our expertise. We are very good at it, but people say that it is outdated. We maybe have the pedagogy and the technology, but yes, again, it is exciting but disconnected. So how do we connect all those factors? That is the things that we need to consider as a concern as an educator. Getting students engaged, especially on the online world, that is so not easy. And I believe that many lecturers here, you have already experienced about that. And then, so how? What to do? We need to understand the pattern of communication. We need to understand the psychology of the students when they are facing the screen. Because Indonesia is very famous for how to say, for cyber bullying. Do you know why? Do you know why people are very famous for cyber bullying? One of the answer is that the psychology of the people when they are facing the screen and when they are facing the real people is very different. For example, I will be so, how to say, so considerable. I will consider, like, I will think 1 or 2 times when I want to bully one of you right in the face. But when it is online, people are not worried about their identity at all. You just type bad words and you go there. So the direction of the communication, the psychology of the communication when you are going to the online world, it has to be considered. And then the use of technology in education is also shifting. So that is very important things to consider. So what can be done? What are we resistant to the disruptions? I am, how to say, I still remember my parents when I was child. They always avoid, like, Halim, stay away from your phone. Halim, stay away from video games. Halim, stay away from the internet. Do you agree with that? I say that, oh my God, Mom, this is my life right now. I say to my father, Dad, this is the thing that we are born with. That is why in the last few months, the Ministry of Communication and Information has released about the digital native society. What does it mean? It means that the society right now, the people right now, especially the younger generation, they are born with the technology. They are born with the internet. They are born with the IoT. They are born with the big data and everything. So that's the thing. Things are changes right now. So because we are digital native, we cannot be resistant. We cannot, like, stop the changes, right? I believe that if, for example, if you were born between 80s to 90s, you are the people who are very lucky to experience the jump of the technological advancements. So I was born in 90s. I found that in the past I have never experienced the thing so-called internet at all. And then I found a new phone that is so amazing that you can call people from far away in a very short time. And then there is internet, and then some advancement, for example, like video calls. And now we have the video conference. And because of this technology, we have international conference right now. That is very interesting. So the thing is that as Islam communities, if we take a look back in the golden age of Islam, for example, when the center of the society, the center of the development in Baghdad, the people, the Islamic scholars, they are never resistant to changes. So what they did is that they received the changes and they accept everything, but we need guidance. But we need, that's why our Pak Rector already said that one of the things that we have already facing right now is that we need to take a look at the development of the technology, the development of the current issue right now, and we have to have the filter with our religion. So it is exciting that in Dawah, for example, we try to guide people to give them the good things, but also we have to go back to the golden age of Islam, is that Islam has never been resistant to knowledge. Islam has never been resistant to what is happening in the world right now. So that is very different with the dark age of Europe, for example. When you remember in Europe, there are some people, there are some scientists, they are sentenced to death. They got some punishment from the authority because they are saying about the science which is not in line with the religion. So that is never happened to Islamic society. So this is actually why we need that kind of guidance, so that we need to follow, we need to go back to our religion, Islam, that is not resistant to the disruptions. And then there is one thing that is very interesting that I need to share with you, dear participants. It is about the AI of algorithm. The AI algorithm. This is very interesting thing that I found is that we don't know what is the truth right now if we don't have if we cannot guide ourselves in the online world. I go to an example. I believe many of you, especially the younger generation, you have Instagram. you have TikTok, right? You have YouTube, and you have so many other social medias. Now, let's consider and let's take a look at your TikTok, your YouTube. What are you seeing? What you are seeing in my TikTok, in my Instagram, in my YouTube is going to be very different with what you see. Why? Because the algorithm has shown you. So if you want to see the truth right now, we have to consider like, what are you doing on the online world? Because what you are seeing, that's what you are going to see. The internet right now, they are showing you what you like. They are learning you. They are learning the people. So if you want to see about how is yourself, if you want to reflect about yourself, you just take a look at your Instagram. You just take a look at your TikTok. That is you, because right now the technology is learning about you. So guidance and counseling is a process of interaction between the counselor and counselee, as you know, either directly and indirectly, in order to help the counselor to develop his potential. Okay, let's give a quote here: to develop his potential or solve the problem he is experiencing. So the keywords is here, the potential and also solving the problems. In Society 5.0, we have some points that we need to think about. The first is problem solving and value creation, and the second is the diversity. As you know, that Indonesia is very diverse country, and decentralization, resilience, and also sustainability and environment harmony. Towards social justice. So this is the key important issue. As we know that in Pancasila, one of the ideology of the country, what is the Pancasila number 5 about? Social justice to everyone, social justice to everybody. And I am interested to the question which is given to the first plenary speaker, to Ms. Ria, by the participants. How can we expect from the online world if the facility of online learning, for example, or e-mental services is not reaching all the parts of the people of Indonesia? Yes, maybe in Java Island you have that kind of facility, but how about the people in my island, in East Kalimantan? There are some people far over there, they don't get that kind of facility. So social justice is something that we need to consider, not only because it is very important to everybody, but it is also very important because based on the data that I got from the Badan Pusat Statistik in 2020, there was about the statistics of education, and you know what, the people, there are some people that get disadvantaged until right now. You can imagine in 2020, many people still don't have the good access to technology. In 2020, many people, they don't get good access to education, and many of them are women, many of them are disadvantaged people, many of them are disabled people, and many of them are like old people. So this is something that we need to consider if we really go to social justice as mandated by Pancasila. So that is already something that I told you about the what happens with the social justice right now in our country. So the people need to consider a lot about this. And for example, again, in education world, despite what happens with the advancement of technology, the World Bank has shown that online learning, if we don't get what I presented earlier, that online learning should have the TPEC content, pedagogy, and also the technological skills, then what we have been doing is just like revealed by the World Bank, mentioning that we have huge potential of loss in economical advancement in the future. So that is happening right now. So towards the social justice, we have this sustainable development goals. So it is agreed by many countries. So no poverty, and then zero emissions, good health, mental health and well-being, quality of education, and also gender equality, until all the points, if they all cannot be achieved by near time, then it is going to be a problem for all of us. But however, even though there are some problems, I want to show you that how is actually the dream of Society 5.0 about. Okay, can you see that I am opening YouTube right now?
Yes, Mr. Halim.
Okay, right. This is a 1-minute video.
Okay.
Okay, now we go back. So you have just seen about the video that is released by Japan when they proposed the idea of a Society 5.0. So what is it about? It is about how the technology is actually helping us to be a full human being, just like what is very important term in Indonesia, memanusiakan manusia, to humanize human. Right, so that is actually the purpose of technology, not to make us changes to become bad, just like many old people say to us, like, Halim, get away from the internet, Halim, get away from your phone, so that you can be a human. No, that is not actually Society 5.0 about. Society 5.0 is about how to humanize human, how to help us to change our life, how to help us to fulfill all the deficiency needs, so that we can go to the growth needs by the model that is proposed by some scholars, so that when the deficiency needs is not well fulfilled based on the study, then the correlation to the growth needs is not applicable. And that is also proposed by Lewins by mentioning that the psychological environment, the boundary of life space, the environment, all are the influencing factors when you are going to reach your goal. So the restraining factors should be eliminated. Not only not only that it is very important to reach your goal, but it is also very important to see that your goal is over there, and then it is good to see it. So you need to identify how the goal is reached. So there is no more resistance. We need to adapt. So adaptability, just like presented by Professor Casmini earlier. So adaptability, but if in the moment right now, that is very crucial. So do you know where you're going? That is the very important questions. If you don't know where you're going, then nothing, right? So back again to the ideology of our country, Pancasila is the thing that we need to consider as a human being, as Indonesian, and also we need to take a look at how the Society 5.0 is going to grow to, and where is the direction, so that we can go back with the guidance of our religion, as is Islam, as Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said in the Quran, it is He who created for you all of that which is on the earth. What does it mean? So that when everything is created for us, the technology is over there, things are changing, but don't worry, we are the khilafah, we are the master of everything, because God has created us so that we can use everything on the earth. So that is from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Halim, for the valuable material. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Pak Halim tell us that there are many difference in aspect of psychology between before and during pandemic. And what society 5.0 society 5.0 is how technology humanize human. And we will move to our last speaker. He is Mr. Moh Zaliridzal bin Zakaria. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear clearly. Okay, dear Mr. Moh Zaliridzal bin Zakaria, Ph.D., the screen and the time is yours.
All right. Thank you, Madam Fenda. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
First, share my screen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Qala rabbi sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Qala syai'un mu'allifu rahimallahu ta'ala wa nafa'ana bihi wa fi 'ulumihi fid dharain amin. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you to UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Indonesia, for inviting me to share my opinion on your conference theme, Strengthening Innovation of Islamic Guidance and Counseling Services for Sustainable Growth Society. Within the limited time frame that we have, let me just straight away share my ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that a sustainable growth society consists of sustainable development of a society that refers to three major components of human existence. The existence of human being in this world is normally within these three components, that is economical, ecological, and humanistic. And within this component, the focus normally is more towards the economic, because it's an essential part of our life. And the aim of social and economical activity is to satisfy human needs or human desire. As we know, we have learned the psychological way that humans have their own needs and desire to be satisfied, as the earliest psychologist Sigmund Freud have shared with us on that matter. And within that sustainable growth society, there will be a desire for biological things, desire for social things, and desire for rational, psychological, and spiritual things. And as we have listened to most of our speakers today on the idea of sustainable growth society or society 5.0, the idea of society 5.0 came from Japan, and that's why the video that Brother Halim showed to us is a Japanese video, because the idea is originated from Japan. And the idea is that a society 5.0 focus on human beings within the economic progress, as I've mentioned earlier, and can solve issues with system developed through the integration of cyberspace and physical space. The video shown by Brother Halim just now have clearly shown us how the cyber and physical spaces interact each other. But coming back to the main thing that we should adhere on is on the Islamic guidance and counseling. The history of guidance and counseling, especially in the Malay archipelago, in our Nusantara situation, it came to us, we are behind about 70 to 80 years compared to our Western counterparts, especially on guidance and counseling. For Malaysian situation, it started as a vocational guidance. I believe it is something similar in Indonesia because it started as a way to help school children to enhance themselves. And the idea of Islamic counseling or spiritual counseling, or sometimes it's just psycho-spiritual counseling, is an idea that only came to us about 1 or 2 decades due to, if we can remember, the 9/11 situation. Prior to that, then the idea of spiritual counseling emerged tremendously due to the needs at that moment. And as we know that spiritual counseling approaches provide us with support to our client belief and value system. We use some methods of praying, affirmation, spiritual healing, spiritual touch, soulful conversation. Major focus of Islamic guidance counseling are normally on the faith, the devotion, the wisdom, the compassion, and spiritual techniques, prayer or meditation, and spiritual experiences. There is some similarity in some situation. For example, if we look at the process of healing a drug addicts, if we learn addiction counseling, we come to know that the earlier part of healing a drug addicts is to ensure that the addicted feeling is being tarnished within that particular individuals. So how do we do that? The technique is called cold turkey, by bathing him, dimandikan dia, bathing him a whole lot of water when the addicted feeling came to that particular person. And this method is being transformed on the idea of mandi taubat in some of our Malaysian spiritual based addiction rehabilitation center. They use the term mandi taubat. It's the same methods of using water to counter the addiction feelings, but it is termed differently. So there is a similar way of doing Islamic guidance and counseling so that we can help our society within the challenge of 5.0. We must always know that the key to Islamic guidance and counseling innovation is within the Iman, the Islam, and the Ihsan. Some scholars mention it as a tripod of life. If you want to take pictures, nowadays people like to selfie, but those days we use tripod to take pictures. Right? A tripod have 3 legs, and Islam consists of these 3 legs: the Iman, the Islam, and the Ihsan. And if we miss one of the leg, the tripod cannot stand on its own. That's why wherever and whenever we want to innovate within the Society 5.0, we should adhere to this fundamental Islamic concept of Iman, Islam, and Ihsan. Right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when we say about innovation, we talk about innovation, the first question that's come to us is, what should we innovate? The Islamic guidance and counseling innovation should be able to fulfill the idea of product and process. Right? Innovation is about doing production and a process of doing things. Innovation and discovery is 2 different things. a researcher may discover some ideas. A researcher may discover some new findings, but does the finding give an impact to the society? That is the big question mark, right? A scientist may found that a chemical compound of certain herbs remedy can help to decrease inflammation of certain individuals or certain animal tested situation. But how does this chemical compound from this local traditional herbs can be used by the society? It could take more process, but for us in Islamic guidance and counseling, we should innovate a product that can be used as soon as possible. The modules maybe, a set of psycho-educational teaching material maybe, a set of psycho-spiritual teaching materials maybe. I've given a paper that could be read by our participants in this conference. I hope that the panitia will deliver the paper to the members. Right? For example, ladies and gentlemen, what do I innovate? My specialization is in crisis intervention and group work. When I came back from my Ph.D. study, I always thinking about, I found that there is a spiritual first aid material, but it's a Christian-based spiritual first aid. So we should have an Islamic-based spiritual first aid. So how are we going to have a framework of Islamic-based spiritual first aid? It was a month of Rajab during the Isra Mi'raj. When I read the Sirah on the sadness year of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I came to an idea. Of using the framework of how did the Prophet encounter and how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala design the situation of the Prophet during Isra and Miraj. The Isra and Miraj started with our Prophet lost his beloved wife, Sayyidina Khadijah, and his beloved uncle, Abi Talib, and it was declared the sadness year, tahun kesedihan Nabi. In some historian records, it was recorded at around the 10th year of the Prophet. Tahun ke-10 kerasulan, idea itu timbul. Situasi itu berlaku. And did the Prophet grieve? Some riwayat says that yes, he did grieve. He didn't came out from his room for 2 or 3 days, and until he moved on. Until he moved on. And within that process of moving on, he decided to continue the da'wah to Taif. And within the situation of continuing the da'wah to Taif, it was a big challenge. He was thrown by stones. Some riwayat says that he bled, and the Jibril came down and asked the permission of the Prophet to take 2 mountains and to smash these mountains within the Taif people. But what did happen during that time? Rasulullah didn't agree to that. So I took themes from that is sabar, patient, right? Number 1. And further then, after that, it was the Isra and Mi'raj situation, whereby the Isra and Mi'raj situation started by Jibril cleansing Rasulullah heart, mensucikan hati, right? Cleansing Rasulullah heart, and then he was brought to Baitul Maqdis and up to Sidratul Muntaha to receive the command of Salat. So there is two things there. Cleansing the heart, menyucikan hati. Kalau di Indonesia dia popular dengan tombol hati tu kan. Dan next one is Salat. And these three components of patience, sabar, cleansing of heart, suci hati, and the third one, Salat, is a framework of an innovation for Islamic spiritual first aid for disaster mental health. The idea is flowing, and we have said something on that matter, and that is how we should innovate. That is how we should innovate. We take an event, we take a situation, we think of something, and what did I do? I'm not only thinking on myself, but I refer to the Islamic scholars. I refer to my friends in USIM, I'm from USIM, Islam Malaysia, and I refer to them. They who learn more on the Islamic sides compared to me, who learn more on the psychological and counseling sides. And they agree with me on that idea. And then I bring the idea to a write-up, right? That is what we should innovate. And then we can also innovate the process of innovation for specific counseling work. For example, I got a book here. It is Theory Cognitive Ad-Din, Psychology Cognitive Ad-Din. Right, this book is Psychology Cognitive Ad-Din, and this book is written by a professor in UPM, Malaysia. It consists of the idea of how are we going to do cognitive Islamic guidance and counseling. Right, let's move on. So for whom we should innovate? As a Muslim innovator, we should consider a holistic approach to our innovation. Right, the innovation ideas is not only for the client perspective. Bear in our mind that as a counselor, as a Muslim guidance and counseling practitioner, we are also we also have the inclination of having our own situation, having our own problem. So we not only innovate for the client, but we innovate for the practitioner. Ladies and gentlemen, for the time being, I'm doing a research on understanding how is the practice of self-care. Self-care is a term that is used for practitioner to take care of themselves. Within listening to all stories of the client, he can take care of him or herself so that it will not jeopardize his own mental health situation. So now I'm looking into how people doing self-care within the religious perspective. In Malaysia, we have many religions, and we try to look into four main religions: the Islam, Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu. We try to explore qualitatively from all the practitioners if they did crisis intervention, so how they take care of themselves, how they practice self-care within the religious perspective. And how long will our innovation last? And innovation is not a thing that can be done in a blink of an eye. It's not a kun fayakun situation, right? Innovation took some period of time, right? But this innovation should always be done fast, as we know that we have moved to society 5.0. This Internet of Things, this big data and everything is moving too fast for us, and we have to try our best. We have to try our best, but remember in our mind that we should not be offended if within the process of strengthening our innovation, a new idea emerge and evolve. It is the culture of innovation. You innovate something, people innovate something, and then maybe we can work together. But the only thing is, if we innovate within the Islamic framework, it will last for a significant time. And the question of who is the owner of the innovation? We should ask ourselves, are we the owner of that innovation? For me, yes, from the perspective of career enhancement for an academic faculty members, we could patent it, or our innovation. We can claim the patent for our career excellence. But if we are thinking about the truthful and rightful owner of the knowledge of this world, we will able to let it go. We give anyone the opportunity to use our innovation for the betterment of Ummah. Those days, my student asked me, why do we learn Sigmund Freud? He's a Jew. Why we need to learn ilmu Yahudi? Itu bahasa mereka lah. So I told them, this is not ilmu Yahudi. This is all knowledge of Allah. But this Yahudi took the effort to explore and explain to us. So we also need to take the effort to explore and to explain within our Islamic framework. There are some more ideas that is written by Haq 2016 on how we should innovate in Islamic guidance and counseling. We can think about unification of Western psychological model with Islamic belief, whatever the cognitive. I'm doing some research now on cognitive ihsan, merging the cognitive and ihsan tasawwuf. We can also do some research on historical account of Islamic psychology and its rebirth. The idea of cognitive psychology have been mentioned by Abu Zaid al-Balqi. I've written it in my paper. Way before we heard about this cognitive behavior therapy. All right. We should read the work of Islamic psychologist, the late Professor Malik Badri, explore on that. The development of theoretical models within the Islamic framework, right? We can develop. People, I believe in Indonesia, there is so many scholars who explore this thing. We can develop intervention techniques within the Islamic framework. We could also develop assessment tools and scale within the norm of our Muslim society. One of my colleagues here in Malaysia, he developed Muslim Religious Personality Inventory, MRPI, on looking into how religious we are. We claim that we are religious. We wear our sarban, we wear our jubah, we wear our jilbab and everything. But are we religious enough? The assessment tools can tell us about that. We can develop this kind of tools. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the idea of innovation initiative for Islamic guidance and counseling. I hope it is an eye opener to everyone to practice more on Islamic guidance and counseling, to venture more, to innovate more. I'm thinking now about emerging the idea of adventure-based therapy with the element of tasawwuf and everything. I'm thinking about, I have an Indonesian PhD student. Now I'm thinking about developing a module on grief and loss within the Islamic perspective. So there's so many things that we can share together, we can work together, we can innovate together. So please do not hesitate to contact me within my email address if we need further discussion. So for that matter, thank you very much. I'll stop my sharing and let us have our question and answer session. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Zaliridzal bin Zakaria, Ph.D, for a wonderful material. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he told us that the key to Islamic guidance and counseling innovation, there are three: iman or akidah, Islam or ibadah, and the last is ihsan or tasawuf. Well, we will move to our last session. It is a discussion. Our committee has recapped the question and they will help us to display the question on the screen. Please, the committee, you can display the question right now. The first question is for Professor Casmini from Siva Inara. How to improve counselor skills to face the digitalization era? Prof. Casmini, okay. Monggo.
Thanks, Mbak Venda. I think to improve ya counselor itu there are three strengthen. The first counselor need to strengthen the material. Jadi perlu melakukan penguatan materi-materi terkait dengan bimbingan dan counseling sehingga bisa menguatkan pada sisi teori dan sisi pendekatan yang kita kuasai terkait dengan kondisi yang terjadi pada masyarakat saat ini. Sehingga to develop guidance and counseling theory and approach, so find a new theory that fits the development of society 5.0. The second, to strengthen the technique counseling, we can proficiently we use digital counseling. Sebenarnya bisa dikaitkan dengan apa yang tadi dikuatkan dari materi ya, yang bisa kita kuatkan dari teori. Karena dari teori itu kemudian kita akan mendapatkan satu pendekatan baru, dengan situasi yang baru, sehingga kita akan kuat secara teori. Teori itu mungkin bisa dilakukan dengan melakukan riset, beberapa riset, bisa dengan riset eksperimental ya, eksperimen riset. Nah, ini bisa menguatkan kemudian dipraktikkan dengan menjadi satu teknik konseling. Yang ketiga, to strengthen personality of counselor for intellectual, emosional, and spiritual. Karena intelektual, emosional, and spiritual itu akan menguatkan bagaimanapun materi yang kita miliki ya, teori pendekatan yang kita miliki sudah kuat, tekniknya sudah kuat, kalau personalitinya, konselornya sendiri goyah gitu ya, tidak mampu menghadapi situasi yang baru, itu mungkin ya akan lepas juga. Satu fenomena yang terjadi tadi Pak Halim ya menyampaikan tentang NFT ya, Ghazali. Ada satu lagi mungkin yang perlu kita eksplor saat ini terkait dengan digital ya. Itu kasus apa sekarang yang kena hukuman tuh Doni Salmanan sama Indra Kents ya, yang baru update isunya. Ini menjadi satu pemikiran mungkin bagaimana kemudian kita bisa melakukan edukasi, entah itu nanti menggunakan bimbingan atau konseling menggunakan cyber counseling, digital counseling ini untuk bisa menangani masalah-masalah tadi yang saya sampaikan, kompleks problem solving. Itu Mbak Venda. Thanks.
Thank you, Prof. Casmini. Okay, to second question. Mohon maaf, ini Ibu Ria sudah live ya. Jadi another question please. To Mr. Abdul Halim dari Mas Haikal Reza. Question. One of the point in society 5.0 is resilient. How to give understanding to people so they can survive in mind of a boring pandemic. Silahkan Pak Abdul Halim.
Okay, thank you, Bu Penda, for reading the question. Yes, so it is kind of interesting that everybody agrees that pandemic is kind of boring. Okay, right. So we are now, yes, it is in the midst or in the middle of pandemic, and it is very hard for us. And then the economic is also hitting right now, and also there is an update about war between Russia and Ukraine. Itu akan juga membuat kita makin terpuruk ya, especially for the mental health and the well-being of everyone. So how to give the understanding so that people can survive. So again, we go back to the theory. So I want to go back to the Maslow's model that I have shown you. So we know that there are two kinds of needs that is presented by Maslow. So the deficiency needs and also the growth needs. So it is very important for everybody in this forum to ensure that the deficiency need is well fulfilled. As I already presented to you that there is a research in UK that based on their survey that people cannot go to the growth needs. People cannot reach to the top of the needs if they cannot fulfill the lower needs, which is the self-esteem, belonging and love, safety, and also psychological. So it is very important, especially people working in the counseling and guidance, to ensure the well-being of everybody. So if the well-being is already good, I mean, in a good situation, counseled by the professionals, then everything is going to be okay. But if the deficiency needs is not well guidance, it is not good in terms of the service, and in terms of the quality of the interactions, then it is not going to be okay. So how to help people to survive? Go back again to the theory mentioning that deficiency needs is very important, and it is the job of everybody. It is the job of us to ensure the fulfillment of each of the needs. That's it, Bu Venda.
Thank you, Pak Halim. The next question, please. Okay, the next question is to Mr. Zaliridzal bin Zakaria, Ph.D. From Diva Naningrum. The question is how to create innovative counselor that are in accordance with Islamic values so that they can answer community problems. To Mr. Zaliridzal, monggo, please. Hello, Mr. Zaliridzal.
Sorry, I'm muted just now.
Okay.
All right. Venda, it's easier to call me Mr. Zali only. I find it's quite difficult for you to mention my full name. All right, never mind. Okay. The question is how are we should innovate according to Islamic values. That is why in my presentation I show the most important things of the tripod of Islam, the Islam, the Iman, and the Ihsan. Those days, most of our Muslims, maybe in Malaysia, maybe in Indonesia, we are good with our Islam and our Iman, but some of us are lack of our Ihsan. The Ihsan part is an important thing that should work together in strengthening our own self to build up our inner parts. Let's say an example, people nowadays drink what we call it as detox water. Detox water. They cut off some lemons, some lemongrass, and put it in plain water, let it for one night, and then they drink it every day. Say they use it to detox their stomach. Easy to say that to detox themselves, to bring up all the unnecessary things from our body. So a colleague of mine, he asked, so how we detox our hearts, our corp? That is why we need to balance up the values of Islam, Iman, and Ihsan to answer the community problems, and to identify what is the community needs. We can always do some surveys and things like that. And when Brother Halim talk about the effect of the pandemic to our community, that is why now I'm trying to work out on having a modules of grief and loss for adolescents and children. Why? Because we know that during these 2 to 3 years of pandemic, these children and adolescents have lost many of their family members. So there is need for us to come in to give some help within a structured framework. When we build a module, it helps us to have a structured framework. When we innovate a module, it helps us to have a structured framework, so we can have a good rail to walk through and to identify things. If not, we are like doing a humanistic counseling session. We need to the client to have the insight. But now we are doing a cognitive-based counseling. We can teach them, we can talk to them, we can ask them to do things that can straight away help them in doing things. So the idea should come from the concern. Like for most of PhD students, or for most of the researcher or innovator, why do they innovate? How they come to the idea of innovation? The idea of innovation comes from their concern. They're concerned about something within the society. They believe that this concern needs to be addressed too. So they innovate an idea to help intervene that concern. That is a basic thing that we can do. We can think and how we should think in doing innovation in Islamic guidance and counseling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zaliridzal, for the answer. One more question, yeah, one more question. To Ibu Prof Casmini from Abdul Zakaria, how to implementation the spiritual values and cultural values in guidance and counseling practice in digitalization era. Monggo Ibu Prof.
Oke. Yang perlu ditegaskan bahwa spiritual value or cultural value itu are human values. The values of trust, righteousness, peace, love, and non-violence. I think spiritual value and cultural value to become character in counselor personality. So, counselor personality itu perlu selalu dilatih sehingga menjadi satu aura positif di dalam kepribadian, sehingga ketika kita melayani to service kepada counseling itu betul-betul menjadi satu positif personality kita yang ditampilkan, meskipun seorang konselor itu ada subjektif ya, ada subjektif. Seorang konselor mempunyai diri yang mungkin bermasalah tetapi bisa mengendalikan masalah dan bisa to service konseling yang lebih baik. Oke, Mbak Vinda.
Thank you, Prof. Casmini, for the answer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because the time is up, so we have to end our discussion today. As moderator, I apologize if I have a mistake. The time I will return to Madam of Ceremony, Mbak Okti. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Wenda, who had guided the plenary session. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we get into the last session. Before we close this event today, I want to remind you that we still have more sessions to be held on 11 March 20 and 22 through virtual meeting. Let's close this event playing Basmalah together. Bismillah. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim.
Alhamdulillah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it might be time to go to the documentation session. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn on your camera, and to operator, please help us to take a screenshot.
Okay, wait. Okay, I start from first slide. 1, 2, 3. Second slide. 1, 2, 3. Third slide. 1, 2, 3. Fourth slide. 1, 2, 3. Fifth slide. 1, 2, 3. Sixth slide. 1, 2, 3. And then last slide, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you to operator. Last but not least, thank you again for your great participation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you Pak Halim, Pak Zaliridzal, Prof. Casmini.
Ya, sama-sama.
Hey, thank you.
Halim.